All right, we'll see how much space I have on my phone. We just did stances, and the thing with stances is if I'm working with somebody like that's coming out of an abusive relationship or recovery or something, I'll be like, you know, work on your own life before you bring anyone else into your miserable existence. Like, work on yourself so your relationship can be happy with anybody else, be it an apartment or something, and know who you are. That's the first stripe. And I'm pretty particular with stances. I do a lot of footwork drills and things like that, but I'm going to do the footwork drills another time. So this is blocks. So I'm going to do it out of a fighting stance, which is what I prefer. And I'm going to test in Kumite. I'm not just going to sit there and have you go, no. It's not what I do. So if this is my fighting stance like this, it's developing blocks. So first block is like, and I like to do them out of kosas, and this is kosa. We cross our arms like this, and it's a Matsubushi Ryu technique, but I'm fine with having your hands up like that and doing it in a fighting technique. Either or, it's working with the individual to decide which form of karate complements their primary fighting discipline or which one they want to learn first. But this is Shotokan karate from Japan that I modified to make Okami karate. So first one, and I'm just going to do it in kosa for demonstrations, but if you want to have your hands up, it might look like drawing the sword, but in kosa it's going to be drawing the sword, drawing the sword. So drawing the sword, and we'll talk about where to talk on bones in a different thing. Drawing the sword, drawing the sword. So if I'm straight on my kosa, punch is coming up, drawing the sword. Punch is coming across, right? Coming across, kosa, like that. That's drawing the sword in either way. And if we're still in our fighting stance, if something's coming down, we have the same kind of motion up like that. And we can up and back, or up and back, or up and back. So that's a difficult one, but what it is you snap up and snap down. And the way that I was taught is actually snap up, snap down. But what I use it for is if like someone's coming in on me with a left jab, I can block up, and then there's a right like cross coming down, I can block that like that. So, and even come through with the cat bars. So that's 4 blocks: drawing the sword, drawing the sword, drawing the sword, and then down. And then a big one, if someone's trying to kick your quads, is like that, like that. And you can think about placement of this hand as you pull back with the kosa, like you're starting a snowblower. So you can put it like that over your liver. You can put it like that over your clavicle, or you can even like that over your ear. Those are like different ways of doing that block. And then we're facing like this. Another way that I was taught to do that block in Japan, just to kind of show off in a kata, kind of looks cool. I don't use it that often. If we're in like a back stance, is like that, right? That looks cool. So then same thing with blocking, is this is my cat paw, and they'd call it a bear claw in Japan, and I use it a lot for knife defense. And there's 2 different ways of doing it, but I'm gonna show you how to block people like Matsubushi Ryu into submission. You can use it with your front hand or your right hand, and think about what's happening. So if we're using Kumite training, we can prepare ourselves for actual combat. So it's a down, out, up. And we can do it with our backhand of up, middle, down. So if you want to do a drill, you can do something like and then the other side of bear claw, so we bring it in, center our chi, like this, and it's like that. And I use my cat pose for that, but to really make it snap, what you're doing is you're blocking by bringing it around the wrist like that, and you're covering up vital parts for knife defense. So bringing it down, bringing it down, bringing it down, bringing it down, bringing it down. So you keep your bear claw like this, and you bring it down. And the reason I call it a cat paw we'll go over this in another video, is this is like a bear claw, right? And it's to defend. The cat paw is when you stop using this part of the bone for blocking and you use this part like a Muay Thai chop. Because a Muay Thai chop, you use this part of the bone, you go, hot! Hot! And people in Thailand can like break concrete like that. So that's my cat paw, is I can block you and then hot! Check your ego into the jaw or something. And then like for chopping, like if we do the same thing with our kosa, and then I like to use the cat paw, we can to the wrist, to the wrist, to the ankle. And then a nice combo that I use, and I learned this type of chop at House of the Rising Sun in Vermont and Pittsford, is like if you're facing this right here, you come up by the ear, come down like that. So a nice combo that I like to use against like that is the kosa. So we want to make it snap. So we come in and pull the knife out of their hand, right? Loop it around, or at the very least it's dangling. And then we step forward, and before we step down, and then we step down. Like that team turkey, bah! That I teach. So it's a snap in like that, but bring it up by the ear. So snap, hut! Like that. We can work on hut! And then make it a hut! Hut! And then I like to step out of it and get back to the center. So that's a cool combo with kind of a cat paw block to chop. And we'll go over bones like they do in Thailand and Japan in another video. And then my sensei in Japan, in Doje Roku, is very big on torquing hips, and it's one of the reasons why I studied from him. Is I hit really, really hard for someone who's karate's their main discipline, who's 6'2", 177 pounds. So he's into hips. So like these are two hip working blocks that I don't utilize a lot. So down like that, down like that, down like that, and then like that, like that. So you want to look at like this, like that, like that. I had one other block, but I forget. I think my behavior is being monitored by the behavior police. That's somehow not me in a court. Trying to think other blocks that I use that aren't Muay Thai. I don't remember.